Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic, check. All settings show go. We are here. So, for those of you who were here a few days ago, you may remember me talking about and having a little bit of trouble with Fallout 4 with my new mod, Energy Weapon Emitters. Well, thankfully to the lovely people over at a couple of Discords, actually. The first Discord I found was actually a one called... Get the exact name. Collective Modding, a right deck legacy. A Fallout 4 and Witcher 3 modding community. And after they gave me a little bit of help because I was trying to get the papyrus scripting to do what I wanted to do, which it wasn't doing, they directed me over to Zyzax modding. Zyzax and his team, their team, created something called the Robco Patcher. And the Robco Patcher is an F4 SE patcher, which basically allows you to inject stuff into weapons, armor, items, so on and so forth. Is my headset saying that it's dying? Headset saying it's dying. Thankfully, while it is wireless, it does allow you to plug in a wire. Always when I'm broadcasting. Without fail. Always when I'm broadcasting. Anyway, as I was saying, the Zyzax modding created the Robco Patcher, which allows you to inject stuff into a bunch of stuff, and they've already got a bunch of mods under their name, like the better Power Armor Redux, the Ammo System, Better Legendaries, GCM, the game customization menu, Hunters of the Commonwealth, it's better locational damage is a fun one. And so yes, with the help of Zyzax, specifically, because I don't know if Zyzax has a team that helped make the Robco Patcher, but the one who actually helped me on the Discord was Zyzax himself. They were able to find the bugs I was having in making my INA file for the patcher, because that's basically how the patcher works. Once you've installed the patcher, it's not going to affect your load or anything. It's an FOSE plugin, so as long as you're running FOSE, you'll be fine. It's a plugin that runs in the background. And while yes, this mod will require you to have the Robco Patcher installed, it's not going to affect your load order. It's like I said, it's just a script that runs in the background, like a lot of base scripts. You know, ENB boost, shadow boost, all those things run in the background. So Robco Patcher runs in the background. It doesn't have a ESP associated with it. It's all script based. So what this will have is when I package this up, put it up on the Nexus shortly after this video, is it will have included into the file an FOSE file. It'll go into a scripts plugin. You know, it'll have standard mod install where you just click install and it'll throw everything where it needs to go. But if you were to look into details, you'll notice that there's an FOSE folder. Inside that is plugins. Inside that's a Robco folder. Inside the Robco folder is a weapons folder. And inside the weapons folder, you will see Energy Weapons Emitters. This mod.ini. And that basically has all of the code necessary to take the new keywords created by the ESP file, which is flagged as an ESL, by the way. I would try to do that. Takes those, throws them into every energy weapon that I could find the ID codes for, and the end result is the effects of this mod. the first of the trifecta that I mentioned on my stream last time. My basically, would you want to call it a combat overhaul? I'm not sure how to call it a combat overhaul. More of a weapon tweaking system, weapon customization system. But what EWE does is it allows you to control the emitters of your weapons, what they throw out. And so, we have spawned and turned off the AI for a behemoth, this nice huge target. I've got several laser pistols, like literally, they're all the same thing. They're all laser pistols with all pretty much identical stats. Sighted boosted, sighted boosted, sighted boosted. You can see here, they're all basically the same. Except for maybe a paint job or two. But what makes them different? The emitters. So let's start with number one. Always happens. Always happens. Here's Fallout 4 crashing. Probably not related to my mod, but probably on the fact that I kept toggling in and out, you know. And I just realized I could have easily checked to make sure I was streaming well last time, because Restream through OBS literally has a button that says view on YouTube, view on Twitch. Sometimes I'm an idiot. Actually, let's be honest, most of the times I'm an idiot. Anyway. Yeah, that's good enough. Shall we add a target in? Help. Behemoth 4. Player dot place at me. Yeah, shoot, I want to see one. Toggle combat AI off. Toggle AI off. There you go. Energy weapon emitters. Any energy weapon, any emitter you want. I'll obviously trim this later for the actual mod spotlight, but there you go. Now, no, I don't want to target myself. Kill. Toggle combat AI. Toggle AI. There we go. Now I just need a workbench. Obviously, the one that I can do all my work at is, of course, the hometown of Sanctuary. But the closest one, is we just need to see the emitters, is right in here. Let's put our weapon away. I just need a weapon workbench. There we go. And there you go. The emitter. This has not been added directly like my mod preview did to the weapon. You'll see that it's added scriptically. And there you go. I've even added descriptions. What I might want to do next, what I'm probably going to end up doing next in one of the updates, though I'm going to release this mod as is I'm going to pull out the damage multipliers. Like things that affect like cone and whatnot, I'll leave those in because the different weapon types and the way they're firing makes sense. Some might have a cone, some might not. But I think I'll remove the damage multiplier, so it basically is the base damage of your weapon. It's just the emitter. What I might do is like for the more complex ones, like for example, plasma small being like the default, leave it as no damage multiplier, but plasma large gives you +2. Like tiny little minor thing just to represent the size of the projectiles, while small fast will give you maybe like -2, because it's also firing multiple projectiles, which should actually increase the damage. I might tinker with that. Same thing with other things like the gamma blasts and their variants, so that you're not choosing these things for their damage type. Your damage is still handled by the barrel. Everything else is left the same. This is purely a, I wouldn't say fully cosmetic thing, because you can add like a splitter effect, but that's kind of the idea. That you're choosing this because you want to choose how the weapon is expressed. The ultimate idea is of course, so that you can have something like the Brotherhood has recovered other weapons from other groups and decides to modify them so they all fire Brotherhood standard red bolts. Or the Institute synths are out scavenging, and so they grab a bunch of various energy weapons and they quote unquote upgrade them to the Institute standard, so they fire the Institute standard blue bolt. Because that is a thing that happens in the game. If you enter an area with turrets, active turrets, and the turrets have been taken over by synths, instead of firing red blast, the turrets fire blue blast. So this is a thing. The Institute does rewire existing technology to use whatever you want to consider is the source of their blue energy blasts. And that's kind of the idea. Maybe for like, if you have a mod that adds the Enclave, because the Enclave obviously isn't a default thing, you might want to set it so that all Enclave officers and any weapons they spawn with use plasma. You could make it so that the Children of Adam do the same thing. The Children of Adam will spawn with energy weapon, but it'll always be set to have gamma bursts, so on and so forth. That's kind of the idea. Though, while it's beyond the scope of what I'm doing, I would love it if someone were to take this mod and the Children of Adam and find a way of pulling those little like tubes off the back of the gamma gun and being able to throw that onto any weapon. Like what I would love for this mod to do, which I may maybe be able to do a little bit of, is that when you choose the different emitters, like for example the gamma emitter, it throws the little gamma circle at the front of the weapon, which again I might be able to do. I'm not sure I'll be able to pull off the modules at the back though. I'm not really I'm not a model guy. I'm a code guy. But I think because the thing's at the front, you can pull off the dish and throw the dish on the front, and it won't be much of a problem. But that's probably about the limit of what I can do for any sort of visual change to represent the emitters. I'll leave that to someone else to give visual effects to the emitters as a mod, but they are a separate item. That's the key. I want people to understand. Like, the receiver is still the receiver, the barrel still the barrel, grip's still the grip, scope still, well, obviously I'm using improved sights, so there aren't really much to see there. I can totally still add on the muzzles. Like, yeah, I can go right here. You can see it right here. I can still add all the normal scopes. Still go through all of the normal stocks. All the barrels are there. All the receivers are there. So really, that's a mod we need to see someone do. Redesign the receivers, because my god, they all look like the same, don't they? There is no variety in the receivers. Like, barrels all different. Grips all different. Scopes all different. Muzzles all different. Wow, we really need, like, a receivers overhaul. Maybe there's one out there. But yes, that's kind of the idea. And it's not just a laser pistol. It's, like I said, any vanilla energy weapon. I haven't quite incorporated the DLC ones yet. You know, notably the Tesla cannon, the salvage Assaultron head, um, stuff like that. But the alien blaster is fully compatible with this. Laser pistol is fully compatible with this. The Gatling laser is fully compatible with this. If you want a Gatling laser that fires a bunch of gamma rings, you're good. If you want an Institute revitalized Gatling laser, you're good. In fact, why don't we show some of that off right now? Because I can always just add them via the console. But yes, if you want the insanity that is, where are you? There it is, emitter. Let's say plasma. We'll play around with a few of them. Plasma musket. Let's go out first. Let's go to first person. Plasma musket. Yeah, let's do it. Gamma blast large. Just to kind of show you. Gamma musket. Again, as this mod grows, I may end up adding other tweaks in the future, such as maybe finding a way to change the charging color to match. I am not sure. I haven't looked at the laser musket in detail, so I'm not sure how it does the color charger. So I have to look into that a little bit more to see how it handles that. I'm not sure whether it's treated as a. I'm actually sure what it's treated as, honestly. I know the color, typically color in Fallout is pretty easy to change, but I'm not sure where it's stored, so I wouldn't know what I would have to do to change its color. But as I was saying, yes. Institute. Musket. Yeah, let's go over this way. Institute musket. And now, as we were saying, help. Gatling. 4. Weapon, Gatling laser. Alright. Player dot add item. One zero 1 0 E 3 2 1. Ah, does not count as a regular Gatling laser. Let's do the one at the bottom of the list then. 2 1 4 0 0 A. 2 1 4 0 0 A. Oh, that's a stat. 1D 001 006 066. There we go. Proper Gatling laser. Your standard Gatling laser attack. But if we head on back to our workbench, I might not have grabbed the code for that. I'll have to make sure to update that. It looks like I didn't grab the code for the Gatling laser. I got it wrong. Or any number of other things that could be. I could have grabbed the wrong Gatling laser. So I know I put in the code for the Gatling laser, but of course, as you saw there are a few weird variants. Again, easy enough to fix. Because the problem is, I'm pulling these in from the console. These are not being spawned by the game normally. So let's go with 1010 E33. It really does not like getting Gatling laser spawn, does it? We did the O2. So let's do 1D 001066. Let's see, this will give us a different one. And if they're all treated the same. Then I have to look into the code to see if I mix the Gatling laser. Or, I mean, what I'll probably do is I'll release the mod as it is now. Hopefully players playing the game will be able to tell me if they've gotten the Gatling laser to spawn with it or not. Because again, when you're adding things through console, there are various versions of the guns that just aren't proper guns. They're weird internal shit that doesn't play well with normal stuff. But it's an easy update. All I have to do is go into the INI file, go and open up FOEdit, see, Gatling laser, what is your form ID? And then copy and paste. Add this for this form ID. Add this keyword AP emitters to it. It should be easy enough to fix if it is indeed a bug and not a feature. But that, folks, that is Energy Weapons Emitters. And why is the chat still not loaded? I swear restream sometime. Yeah, do the weirdest shit. Am I still stuck in there? Yes, I am. Docs menu. Chat. Let's see if we can get to reload. There it is. Now it's finally loaded. You know, I tell you, folks, I love Restream because it allows me to simultaneously cast to multiple things. In my case, it's YouTube and Twitch. I would love for it to allow me to stream to my Rumble as well, but that's a saying for another day. But being able to do the big two, always fun. But OBS does have issues with Restream. Anyway, with that said, that done, we have officially ended our little broadcast. But let us not end things just here for the stream in general. Let's pick up where we left off. I have now picked up my minigun, and I've got my power core and all that fun stuff. Let's load the game before we start fucking around with. I'm gonna go return the locket. I'm gonna go grab my minigun, go grab my power armor. I'm gonna go and rescue Preston. And I'll show you the dialogue that happens when you have everything he wants you to have. But I just think it's just fun. A fun little bit of variance now. We're heading over to Abernathy Farm. Nope, cancel. Abernathy Farm. Yes. Report your success to Blake Abernathy. We rescue a few dogs on our way. Let's just get the dog ones there. There it is, Abernathy Farm. Yeah, sure. Where are you, Blake? No, that's Connie.
Hey. New here? Well, if you've got anything worth trading, you can talk to me.
Where are you, Blake? Ah, you're managing melons. Blake.
I've got that locket back for you.
You serious? That's great news. Connie's gonna be speechless. I'm sure she'll go lean on the prices after what you've done. And feel free to use our
seems to be growing well.
I want to grab a couple melons for back home. I also need, what is it? Corn, potatoes, and razor grain. Not gonna take them all, even though technically this is one of my settlements now. I want to have a little bit of variety back home so I can grow everything I need. Now, while we're here,
Blake told me what you did for us. For Mary. I know it's not much, but any trading you want to do, I'll go easy on the price. Let me know if there's anything you want to take a look at. How are you holding up? Thanks to you. Better. Mary was a good kid. She had fire in her. I can't tell you how many arguments we had. That girl hated rules, and believe me, I had plenty.
testing 1, 2. Yep, there goes my mic. My mic can be weird sometimes. You can hear me? Yep. Alrighty. Swear. Sometimes I'm going to keep an eye on the stream to make sure that my mic hasn't turned off for some bizarre reason.
You only wanted to keep her safe. Ain't that the truth? And look where it got me. We knew the risks of having kids these days, and we took them. But it was worth it. I won't argue that. Anyway, enough. I'm sure you got plenty of your own thoughts to deal with rather than listen to mine. Like I said, if you need something, just let me know. It's not every day a stranger comes along and helps us out the way you did. Sounds good.
Now, here's a fun thing that there's a lot of nuance in Fallout 4 that cruising the Reddit, a lot of people seem to have missed. First, there's of course the fact that if you have no idea what caps are, being 200 years old, one of the first places you visit has the entire conversation, as we showed off last time, about caps. And of course, Preston has the ghouls question, and there's a few cases like that throughout the game. They could have been set up a little bit better, I will agree. Ideally, what I would have preferred is that it be set up as a context-based menu. That is, the first contact you speak about, the first contact you speak to, would bring these prompts up. Because Fallout 4 does do context-based menus. There are several instances where the first communication with a contact is not their standard for option wheel. There are context-sensitive menus. I feel the fish out of water questions should just be set as context related to first contacts and specific contacts. But it is there. But what I would like to, but my entire point I'm kind of digressing on here is that Connie here, as a kid, they're talking about the troubles of raising kids in the wasteland. It's one of the first places you visit. It's sort of supposed to hint at just how difficult it is being a parent. You, of course, being a parent yourself, seeking your kid. And so you come across one of these first people. They're talking about their own kid. Their kid was killed. Raising kids in the wasteland. It's going to sort of show that just how dangerous the wasteland is for a parent. I don't think they ever specify the age of Mary. I've always assumed she was an adult, but she could have easily been a child. Plus, we see positive reinforcement. We have the negative reinforcement of, oh, Mary stood up to the raiders and was killed. But then we've also got Lucy, who is one of their children, but is alive.
Let's trade. Sure thing.
Anyway, now I've got the Abernathy farm on side. Heading back home to grab my power armor and my minigun. Oh, wait. Is this? I don't think that's the standardized one. That could be. Oh, whoop. You trying to attack my home? I guarantee you that ain't gonna work well for you. I have the. Well, let's just say I've equipped Sanctuary to protect itself. And yes, that goes all the way around. I'm taking a page out of Covenant. I'm trying to build a wall around it, a proper wall, not like a makeshift wall. But I'm not quite finished with the basic setup here, so I won't be releasing it as a transfer settlement. I will in the future, though. Anyway, that is not why we are here. No, 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 no. We are here for something else. Where are ya? Here's my lovely, lovely minigun. Tactical shredding minigun. Tactical shredding minigun. And enter the power armor. Let's get the minigun equipped. Of course, the fun of the minigun is that even without ammo, you can still tear people up once you've added a shredder. That said, I think I actually do have some ammo. Not much, mind you. I pulled this off of ACAC. It's 93 rounds. Not a lot, but should work. Gunner's sight, one of my favorite additions to the minigun. If you're gonna run a minigun let's play, always add the gunner's sight. I only have one fusion core. I should have a second one. Now, granted, I probably chewed. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I probably chewed through the other one. Does that half power, and I was using it. Yeah, so. Do, 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 do. to the Museum of Freedom. Be hilarious as the Raiders respawn, even though this is a set piece. Let's see.
Sweet.
Don't need to hack that yet. Or again. Up on this side. No jetpack, so I can't jetpack up there. And the big moment that I was telling everybody about.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable. Preston Garvey, Commonwealth Minutemen.
Maybe.
Minutemen, so now I'm traveling back in time?
So now I'm traveling backward in time.
Protect the people at a minute's notice. That was the idea. So I joined up, wanted to make a difference. And I did, but things fell apart. Now it looks like I'm the last Minuteman left standing.
The world's changed so much. None of this makes sense.
You all right? Listen, we need your help. And then maybe we can help you, huh? What brought you out here?
Yeah, see, there's a ton of ways you can do this. You can be forthright, a little bit cagey about it. I feel like a distraught mother would probably be like this. My kid's not even a year old.
My baby Sean's been kidnapped. He's not even a year old.
That's messed up. I'm sorry. I know how this world can be. A month ago, there were 20 of us. Yesterday, there were 8. Now we're 5. First it was the ghouls in Lexington, and now this mess.
And again, contextual things. He mentions ghouls. Attacks a ghoul.
Ghouls? What are ghouls?
Wow. You really aren't from around here, are you? Ghouls are irradiated people. Most are just like you and me. They look pretty messed up and live for a long time, but they're still just people. The ones I'm talking about are different. The radiations rotted their brains, made them feral. They'll rip you apart just as soon as look at you. Anyway, we figured Concord would be a safe place to settle. Those raiders proved us wrong. But, well, we do have one idea.
Let's hear it.
Well, let's hear it.
Sturgis?
I had a whole fancy plan about fixing up a suit of power armor. And here you are, walking in like some kind of metal miracle. There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school, pre-war. You might have seen it. Well, it's got a minigun, and it seems to be intact. Wearing that armor, you could rip it right off. Then those raiders get an express ticket to hell. You dig?
And, as I said, normally, if you've got the power core, he'll say, you'll get the option to say, oh, I've already got the power core. Most people are aware of that. They might have grabbed the power core early. Otherwise, he'll direct you downstairs, whatever, get the power core. You come in wearing power armor, you're like, well, I had this entire plan about going up and getting power armor, but damn, man, you already got the power armor. But you know what you could still use is a minigun. And up on the roof, there's a crashed vertibird, it's got a minigun. Yeah, we know that dialogue tree. Except, if you've already got everything he wants... Actually,
I got a minigun right here. We're set.
Well, all right. Maybe our luck's finally turning around. Once you, that power armor, and that minigun show up outside, those raiders will know they picked the wrong fight. Good luck.
And even Preston's dialogue's a little bit later, a little bit different, because what Preston Standard says, which, you know what? Let's not talk about what Preston Standard says. Can I load a quick save right before it? Yep, I have a quick save right before it. So let's switch to that. I'm actually going to do a full save, because I want to actually come back to this point without having to go through the tree a third time. But watch. Let's go and say load, quick save, confirm. And we're going to go through the same dialogue tree, but with none of this stuff equipped. I'm just going to get out of the power armor and drop the shit. And we'll see the standard stuff that people know. So there's that. I want to go to my inventory. Drop that. Go to my ammo. Where is... Oh, right. It's in the power armor. And we'll speed run through this one.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable. Preston Garvey, Commonwealth.
Maybe?
Minutemen?
Nope.
Protect the people at a minute.
Who are these
Just,
Hey.
ghouls? What are ghouls?
wow.
Uh-huh. Well,
Sturgis, tell her.
There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school. Pre-war. You might have seen it. Well, looks like one of its passengers left behind a seriously sweet goodie. We're talking a full suit of cherry T-45 power armor. Military issue.
what makes that power armor so special?
A West-Tech internalized servo system, that's what. Inside that baby, super is the new normal. You'll be stronger, tougher, resistant to rats, and... Get the suit. You can rip the minigun right off the vertibird. Do that, and those raiders get an express ticket to hell. You dig?
And I can use the minigun like a rifle.
Don't see why not. It'll have a manual trigger. Just aim it at the bad guys and do the old spray and pray. Now, as for the armor, it's out of juice. Probably has been for 100 years. It can be powered up again. But we're a bit stuck.
I'll help if I can.
What you'll need is an old pre-war FC, a standardized fusion core, your high-grade, long-term nuclear battery used by the military and some companies way back when. And we know right where to find one.
But we can't get to the damn thing. It's down in the basement, locked behind a security gate. Look, I fix stuff. I tinker. Bypassing security ain't exactly my forte. You could give it a shot.
What are you looking for again?
A fusion core.
Right? Can't be too hard.
Well, all right. Maybe our luck's finally turning around. Once you jack the core into the power armor and grab that minigun, those raiders will know they picked the wrong fight. Good luck.
And again, Preston's ending dialogue completely different if you have none of the gear. Now, what do we say? We take a look at this exact same thing, but only have the minigun, because pretty much everyone here knows the dialogue you're going to get if you have the fusion core, because you can just get it downstairs. You might have gotten it early or whatever. And of course, we just showed what you can do with the power armor and the minigun and the fusion core, the full set. What if you only come in with a minigun? Let's give that a look, shall we? a minigun.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable. Preston Garvey, Commonwealth Minuteman.
Minutemen?
Protect the people at a...
That ain't it.
Who are these people?
Just...
Hey.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Better be a good.
Sturgis?
Mm-hmm.
There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school. Pre-war. You might have seen it. Well, looks like one of its passengers left behind a seriously sweet goodie. We're talking a full suit of cherry T-45 power armor. Military issue.
I like it.
Yeah, I thought you might. Protection with an added bonus. Get the suit. You can rip the minigun right off the vertibird. Do that, and those raiders get an express ticket to hell. You dig?
Did I break it because I have a minigun? I'm stuck in a dialogue I can't escape. Yep, I think I broke it because I have a minigun, but not the rest. Or it's just Bethesda being Bethesda. Yeah, we try again. See if we can get the minigun dialogue exception.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing...
Minutemen? So now I'm traveling backward in time.
Technically, Eve, you are traveling backwards and forward in time, multiple times.
Please.
I should have named you
go
the
on.
doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't it.
Ghouls?
Hey.
What are ghouls?
Wow.
Will it be enough to stop the...
Sturgis?
Uh-huh.
There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school. Pre-war. Well, looks like one of its
I like it.
Get the suit. You can rip the minigun right off the vertibird. Do that, and those raiders get an express ticket to hell. You dig?
There. So it was just Bethesda being Bethesda. Actually, I've got a minigun right here. We're set.
Actually, I got a minigun right here.
We're set.
Well, all right. Maybe our luck's finally turning around. Once you, that power armor, and that minigun show up outside, those raiders will know they picked the wrong fight. Good luck.
And there it is. So he gives you the complete dialogue, but the complete dialogue also works in this case because you were just told about the power armor. Now, let's jump back to my proper save, because there's a few other things worth mentioning. No, not that one. I want that one. Grab Robco.
Wanna try?
I think the password is early.
Got it.
You can't do any worse than me.
Like it or not, we're all counting on you.
Just grabbing any scrap I can find. scrap's always useful, as we all know as Fallout players, or Fallout 4
Dog
players.
meat brought to us.
He's a good dog. Smart.
Oh, indeed. Dog meat's good if fine.
Please, tell me what you know.
Just listen to me. Acting a crazy old lady. It's
And yes, you
the
can
Kells,
quick save during dialogue in Fallout 4. Some people know that, some people don't. Which means that if you want to save scum a particularly hard dialogue, you can.
What's the site?
I can see a bit of what was and what will be. And even what. And
A quick save.
What is it? Mama Murphy, I need more. Please.
I'm sorry, kid.
Quick load.
What is it? Mama Murphy, I need more. Please.
I see. Oh. It's horrible, kid. Claws and teeth and horns. The very face of death itself. That's all I can manage. That's all. I need to rest now. And you have a job to do.
Look, Sturgis may be big, but he ain't much good in a fight. I need you to do this.
Now,
The military is supposed to protect us. Garvey promised. He promised.
oh Marcy, I really do love you. And I don't mean that ironically, no. I love Marcy because she has a great storyline that a lot of people just hate because she's angry. But she has so much reason to be angry. And again, she's another perfect example of the game sort of hinting at the way the world works. Because you're looking for a child, and she lost her child a month ago to raiders invading Quincy, who killed everybody because the Minutemen basically
These are our lives you're playing with.
betrayed them.
Are you listening to me?
And if you actually dug into Marcy and June's story, you'd get that. They're broken people.
Hey,
What's going on? Are we getting out of here?
Now, that said,
Yeah. I promised we'd get there. I promised. I promised we'd get there. I promised. I couldn't keep my promise. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're with the rescue team?
now people who know me will know I always leave the bobblehead behind. This is because you can get 11 in all stats, but only if you pick up the bobblehead after you've gotten 10 in that stat. So I always save the perception, I always save the bobbleheads until after I've maxed out my stats, sort of as a reward for going the distance. If I can hold out, wait, get my stats up to 10, and I come back here, it's sort of a prize I give myself. For getting a stat to 10. Which also means that I tend to hold off on doing the asylum mission, because the charisma bobblehead's there. You only can go there once and never again. And so yeah, if you you got one chance to get the charisma bobblehead. I'd like to have 11 charisma. And if you don't do it in the right order, you're not going to get 11 charisma. So that's why I tend to hold off on that mission, as fun as it is, until I've got 10 charisma. Because everywhere else you can come back to. I don't think there's any other cases of bobbleheads that are one chance only. But that one is. So it's always one of the last things I do after I've got Charisma to 10. Because I can come back here at any time I want, get the Perception bobblehead. Get the Luck bobblehead whenever you want. Strength may be a bit tricky to get to, but you can do it anytime you want. So on and so forth. Charisma is the only one that's one chance only. Which is really weird, because I don't feel Charisma is the type of special that one chance only makes sense, you know? It doesn't provide enough benefits of getting it up to 11. Anyway, I digress. Another thing to mention with specials, you can actually get your specials up to 11 across the board, 1 to 12, and about 30 intelligence. And no, I'm not kidding. Those are permanent base stats. There is a way in Nuka World where if you run through the sequence to its conclusion, you'll have your intelligence boosted to an insane degree. And I think it is about plus 20 points. So I guess technically, if you were to use the 12-point trick on intelligence, you would have 32 intelligence. Normally 31. I usually use the 12-point trick on strength because 12 strength is just a little bit more useful to me, at least, than 12 in any other stat. And 31 versus 32 intelligence, not the biggest thing, so I don't care to earn myself too much with intelligence. But yeah, you can get your specials ludicrously high, and then you start adding armor with its own special benefits on top. Eh. Now, another fun thing to talk about. We're going out here. I'm in my power armor, so obviously I can just take the pieces off the power armor here. We've already said that the quest will automatically trigger. But there's some things to note. Let's grab the loot first. Yeah, let's play you.
Personal log. United States Army Staff Sergeant Michael Daly. This past Saturday, October 23rd, while en route to West Stockbridge, a vertibird crashed into the roof of this museum. The cause? EMP following nuclear detonation. Several, in fact. From the intel I've gathered, this was a global event. The co-pilot was killed on impact. Pilot died of his injuries a day later. Day after that, Flaherty and Canoa were shot by some scared, desperate survivors. Then Brzezinski took off running. Haven't seen him since. Now, it's my turn to go AWOL, if that concept even applies anymore. My armor's fusion core is burned out, so I guess my soldering days are done. I'm heading to Boston, on foot, to see if my sister survived all this. She's got an apartment on Boylston Street. This is Mike Daly, signing out. Good luck. And God bless America. Or what's left of it.
Now, of course, as you might notice, I only have 93 rounds. So, you activate the minigun, you get 1,000 rounds. I got a second minigun as well. Now, that's pretty standard. We all know what's going to happen from here on. But, did you know you don't need power armor to rip the minigun off of that? If we just go back in time again. And let's hop out of my power armor. Nope, can't activate it. Strength of 8 required to rip the minigun off the power armor. So what happens if I've got strength of 8? Well, let's go take a look at what my specials are currently. I've got a strength of 6, so do I have any buff out? Because all I need is plus 2 strength. I have got buff tats. That'll work. 3 additional strength. There it is, strength of 9. Rip the minigun right off. Strength of 8. So, you don't need to do this exchange with power armor. You can just rip them in right off. As you have strength of 8 or higher. Like I said, there's a lot of fun little details hidden in the game that a lot of people just overlook and think the game's a lot simpler than it is. It is not.
Up here. Boss, we got somebody up here. Hold up. Opening fire.
Now, another fun thing people may or may not be aware of, but also kind of hard to pull off, you can join Preston. You don't have to go down there. You can go up here.
I've got this one.
Don't want to walk right up to a Deathclaw? Don't walk right up to a Deathclaw. Join Preston here. In fact, fun fact, you can just walk right through that door when you're in there and just get right back in there. That is an actual functional door. I see him. Somehow, Preston, no. I don't think that's all of them. You see him, Preston? We still have one hostile left. We have not cleared it. But like hell if I'm jumping down there. I ain't gonna jump down to the middle of Deathclaw's maw. Now granted, there are tricks of dealing with the Deathclaw. Like I said, you can just... The Deathclaw will eventually come your way. Just fire at him from an elevated position. There's literally nothing stopping you. Likewise, I could climb the building, get up onto the roof, fire down from an elevated position. Because it ain't gonna be able to get through that door. You have to stay right inside that door, fire it from there. Plenty of ways to avoid a direct confrontation with the Deathclaw. Now, the Deathclaw will take a beeline towards you as soon as you hit the ground. So let's say we Geronimo ourselves. These bodies are important, by the way. Because one of them will be named Gristle, and he has a unique key for a locked chest inside of Cortavega. But don't just ignore the bodies, because you want to find Gristle. I do not like the fact that that thing is just around here somewhere. Oh, I see where he's hiding. He's hiding on the other side of the building. There he's coming. And now I'm out of that ammo. No, back up, back up, back up, back up. Eat my Molotovs. Yeah, sometimes he can glitch through. Which is why I've always been a fan of the Molotov thing, because he'll run away from the fire. Like, for example, he almost glitched through right there. But with Molotovs, as long as you roughly hit that area, since there's holes in the wall, it works! Good old mollies. I know where you are. You're way over there, aren't you? Run, dog meat. Run. You're injured, aren't you? You are. I need another weapon. Do I have more explosives? Frag grenade. Ah! Fraggle rock. Close enough. Whew. Yeah, as long as I'm in here, might as well loot it. That Deathclaw. People have made a joke about how easy the Deathclaw is. Deathclaw is not easy. You've just played the game enough that you know all the secrets. The Deathclaw is not an easy fight. Typically, you walk away from the Deathclaw, this Deathclaw set piece, with no ammo in your minigun, so you don't have a minigun for the rest of the game till you buy more ammo, and your armor's absolutely totaled. That's what happens to the average player. So they get a taste of power armor, but now they have to spend resources fixing it up. They have to go buy new armor, buy new ammo. It is not the easiest encounter in the world. Now, that said, where are you, Gristle? Because once you head back through that door, all these guys despawn. There he is, Gristle. Because the idea is that once you go back through that door, talk to Preston, all of that fun stuff, you just had a major fight with multiple raiders, a Deathclaw, so on and so forth. They want to make the trip back to a safe spot easy for you. So they despawn all the raiders, and all you'll get is like the random encounters along the road back. Now, while we're here anyway, and we're talking about the way the game works, of course, everyone, well, I think most people know it. If you go down here, you can go into this place here. If you go into the sewers before the Deathclaw has spawned, it has a completely different, well, I wouldn't say completely different environment. Basically, the Deathclaw tears his way through some of the environment down there off camera. And if you go down there, you'll see like certain walls that aren't there if you visit it after the fact. And they do kind of limit your ability to move about in that area, but not too terribly much. But it is a fun little thing that if you go here before or after the Deathclaw, the sewers are slightly different. I'll save the level up for a moment. We'll do it in a moment. Let's get everyone back to Sanctuary, shall we?
Take it easy, Mama. You okay?
I'm fine, Preston. Quit fussing.
That was a pretty amazing display. I'm just glad you're on our side.
Dude, you weren't half bad yourself either from your elevated position.
The feeling's mutual, Preston.
You can never have too many friends. Not in the Commonwealth. Listen, when we first met, you asked about the Minutemen. One thing you should know about us, we help out our friends. So here, for everything you've done, thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Well, since you say that, maybe you'll come to Sanctuary with us. We could use your help getting settled there.
What would I need to do?
You'd need to stay strong like you've been. 'Cause there's more to your destiny. I've seen it. And I know your pain.
Please, tell me. I need to know.
You're a woman out of time, out of hope. But all is not lost. I can feel your son's energy. He's alive.
I knew it. Please, tell me where he is. I need to find my son.
I can't see him, not clearly, but I feel his life force. He's out there. And even I don't need the sight to tell you where you should start looking. The great green jewel of the Commonwealth. Diamond City. The biggest settlement around.
Please, Mama Murphy. I'm working from nothing. I need more.
Look, kid, I'm tired now. Maybe you'll bring me some chems later. The sight will paint a clearer picture.
No, Mama Murphy, we talked about this. That junk, it's It's gonna kill you.
But shush, Preston, we're all gonna die eventually. We're gonna need the sight. And our new friend here, well, she's gonna need it too. Now let's get going. Sanctuary awaits.
All right, folks. Thanks to our friend here, it's safe to move out. We're heading for that place Mama Murphy knows about. Sanctuary. It's not far.
She knows about it? You mean she had one of her visions while she was stoned out of her gourd? And now you want us to just head out on another wild goose chase based on no better plan than Mama Murphy saw it?
It can
Oh,
hardly
hold
turn
on,
out
hold
any
on.
worse than...
Everybody just take it easy. We're all in this together, right? So, Marcy, you got a better idea of what we should do next? Anybody? Well then, Sanctuary it is. Let's just hope it lives up to its name.
Come on, June, it's time to go.
Oh, okay.
And there we have it. Our Sanctuary crew are heading off to Sanctuary. There's really not going to be much in the way to stop them. We're in a much better place than some players might be at this point. And there's a few key things here. Now, obviously, everyone's done the return to Sanctuary mission. We all know about building the defenses, all that. So I won't focus on that here. But as we make our way back, I will talk about some things.
June is in Diamond City, child.
Because the site is no joke. And as I said before, since they wanted to make things a little bit easier, well, some of them do spawn, not all of them. But yeah, a lot of people will just overlook Gristle and not grab his key. Always grab his key. But yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but the site is actually, well, it's hit or miss. Depending on what quest stage you're on, the site will, in fact,
I still can't believe you took that
with
far
unique
out.
tips. Some of them aren't the most useful things in the world. But they will provide you with unique tips that, unless you've talked to Mama Murphy about that quest stage, you just won't get. Like, for example, there is an option when you're going to Diamond City to get into Kellogg's house. Well, she'll mention about a lost... That lost key that's in the stands only shows up failed every single way of getting into that house. You go and talk to Mama Murphy. Yeah, she'll spawn a key, and you'll be able to get a key to unlock it. Now, of course, the other thing about Mama Murphy to keep in mind is that while the site is useful, there is a limited number of sites. I can't remember if it's hard-coded for 3 or if it's randomized, and you can get more than 3. But basically, once she asks for, what is it, Psycho? After she takes the Psycho, gives you her hint, she dies. So for those of you who really hate Mama Murphy, just keep asking for her tips, and eventually she'll kill herself. But I like to keep Mama Murphy alive because when the game is over, when you've actually done the last mission, you can come back to her, and she'll tell you how you handle the Commonwealth afterwards. She will give you your fate as the new leader of the Commonwealth after you've destroyed the Institute and all that fun stuff, or side with the Institute, or
Can't say
whatever.
I'm gonna miss this festering boil
She
on
will
the
tell
ass
you.
end of the Commonwealth.
She will basically give you your
No
end credit.
offense
She will
if
give you your
from here or
fate
something.
and how the Commonwealth is changed because of you. That's why I like to keep her alive.
Where are we going, Marcy?
Don't worry, June. Just stay with me. It'll be fine.
And spoilers for all of you people who hate them, the Institute is the only one where she says you will save humanity. All the other ones, your fate's kind of your contributions are kind of mixed. But in the other one, but the Institute one which says humanity will actually be saved, even though they will hate you for it. So yeah, canonically the Institute's the good ending. Just saying. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but canonically, the Institute is the good ending. But I digress. The other good one to get a hint from Mama Murphy for is when you're on the hunt for the courser. And that's the Green Tech Genetics Lab, if I remember correctly. It's Green Tech something. If you talk to Mama Murphy when you have that quest up, she will give you the synth recall code. I'm not kidding. You just go into the fight, give the recall code, and the synth shuts down.
It's the monument to the original Minutemen. I knew that was somewhere around.
So for me, I pretty much just use Mama Murphy for that mission because it takes an entire fight out of the game. You disable the synth. Now there's a couple of other cases, I can't remember the exact specifics off the top of my head, where when you talk to Mama Murphy, she'll give you basically a damage buff to the enemy, the main enemy in that particular stage of the mission. Like I think if you talk to her when you're going to do the fort, the fort entrance and confront Kellogg, you'll get a damage buff versus Kellogg or something like that. But it is something that I always find fun is Mama Murphy's visions. And of course, as I said, Marcy and June have their own story. Unless, yeah, they'll eventually make their way in. I'm not too concerned. I mean, I got one of them walking. Sturgis, are you malfunctioning? Move, Sturgis. Seriously, Sturgis. Are you solar powered? Sturgis. Move. I really should get the mods that allow you to push NPCs. Might get him unbroken from his pathing. Sturgis. He's following Preston, isn't he? Up there goes Sturgis. He got moving again. Is Preston like fall? Did he fall in the water or something? Preston is behind me.
Excuse me.
I'm glad you decided to come with us. I should have listened to Mama Murphy all along. Pretty nice place she's found for us. I think we could settle down here. Make it a place to call home. What do you think?
Well, he stopped here. So because of the mods I have installed, they've extended the border of Sanctuary. This is the border of Sanctuary now, with my mods. That's why he stopped here instead of inside the gate, which is the vanilla. Yeah, fair enough.
This isn't a
got to look past what it is to what it could be. We've got water, plenty of space. Should be pretty defensible.
I would hope
I can
so.
see it. Garden plots over there, some snug shelters. Hell, maybe even electricity.
You don't understand. I used to live here. Before the war.
What do you mean? Before what war? Are you saying...
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what's true anymore.
Hey, it's okay. I didn't mean to rile you up. We've all got our past to deal with. No shame in that. Anyway, I am glad you're here.
Now,
And I hope you don't mind, but
I know some people have been commenting on like Reddit, for example, about the weird pauses in Preston. This is a weird choice made by Bethesda when they got all of the hate feedback for Preston early on after release of Fallout 4. They wanted to give people a way of basically walking away from Preston so his radiant dialogue for his quest wouldn't trigger. So they added these awkward pauses, which I feel was the wrong way to go. It gets the job done. There's a pause that gives you plenty of time to back away and get out of the dialogue before he goes and says, another settlement needs your help. I personally think it would have made more sense that I think would have made more sense if completed giving him a quest or whatever, the dialogue just ends there. You have to talk to him a second time intentionally to get the next Radiant quest. And if you have anything that requires talking to him, and oh, and if you have anything else that requires talking to him, that fires off first. The Radiant quest only happens if there's nothing else to talk to him about, quest-wise, content-wise. I feel that would have been far more elegant than these weird, long, awkward pauses. But that is why there's a weird, awkward pauses. It's a design element intended to allow the player to basically just sort of avoid having to deal with him and his raiding quests.
got another favor to ask. I've had word from a settlement. The only chance to start trouble is...
What kind of help do they...
Sounded like the usual.
Yeah, be a little bit
good.
sarcastic.
I was hoping for a chance to rescue some more helpless villagers.
It's not that people are helpless. They just need someone to give them a helping hand sometimes. That's what the Minutemen are supposed to be.
Sure.
By the way, if you want to help out...
Good old Tim Pines Bluff, because I always do Abernathy first. Now, while we're here, I don't think I can get the June conversation to trigger just thinking a little bit more time for the June conversation, which is really hard to get on camera because it is kind of random. I kind of walk up to you and just say like, not now. But I think maybe we'll try. We'll see if we can get the conversation to trigger. There's Sturgis. There's Marcy. She's actually working, as you can see. There's a couple other settlers we had here before. No, that's Sturgis. There's June.
Excuse me.
Hey. Do
Yes.
you have a moment?
June's
I wanted
conversation.
to thank you for helping us out in Concord. If only we'd run into you sooner.
Don't mention it. You guys have been through hell, huh?
You have no idea. In these past few months, we've lost everything. My son, he's gone.
Your son. What was his name?
Kyle. My son's name was Kyle.
understand how you feel. I lost someone too.
But you and I, we're still here, right? We have to go on. For them.
I just want to trade a few things.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't be very good company right now.
And really, this is what I've been talking about the longs. People hate the longs because they're, kind of pessimistic, they have all their complaints. But if you actually dig into them, the longs are really, really sad. Now, we've had this conversation with June. At one point, he'll come back later and he'll be like, hey, thanks for talking to me. That conversation is kind of hard to get on camera, at least for me, at least. And likewise, Marcy, who people always complain about, oh, she's just a bitch and she's never happy. Her dialogue does change. If you get the place happiness up high enough, I can't remember the exact number. I might actually be there at 60, but I don't know off the top of my head. If you get the place's happiness, meaning you've satisfied all of their requirements and whatnot, she'll actually change her tone slightly, very subtly. Because remember, she's lost everything, and she's been in new settlements. They've had 3 other places they've been. Remember, they started off with 20 people leaving Quincy. Then they went to, what was it, Lexington, where they settled for a while before the ghouls got them. And that means they lost, what was it, 20, and then there were 15. So they lost 5 people in Lexington, just overnight from feral ghouls, after where they had thought was safe. Then they moved to Concord, and they went from 15 to 8. So Concord took out another, oof, what is that, 7? Nearly half their number. And then, I don't think, no, it wasn't Concord. Lexington was the second place, so the ghouls took out 7 number. I can't remember the exact conversation. But then, again, when they had 8 people, they went to Concord, and now they're down to 5. They went from 20 people to 5. Their survivor party lost 3/4 of its members in the course of a month. And for that month, they had an entire town, Quincy, a bustling hub of trade and merchandising and all that fun stuff. They had an entire town. They owned a business. They had a son. And the Minutemen were protecting them. How much better could you be? You have the Minutemen to protect you. They're a major force for good. And then one of the Minutemen's numbers decides he's not getting paid enough or whatever the hell his problem was. I think it was definitely pay because the gunners talk about pay and all that. So he sells them out to the gunners, who then proceed to kill everybody in the town, piling their bodies into literal, like, death pools, like literally piles of corpses that are still burning to this day because it's only been a month. Kill their son, and there's a graveyard in Quincy where they buried their son, and then had to flee with just the clothes on their back, and have then been systematically dismantled at every location. The destruction of their son absolutely broke June, as you've just seen here. He is a broken man. And if you've been paying attention through this entire sequence, you'll notice that June doesn't do anything. Marcy has to get him on his feet and get him moving. So Marcy has gone from being a mother and a shop owner to basically watching her son die and watching her husband devolve into a child. June is physically incapable of doing anything without Marcy egging him on. Marcy has had 0 time to heal because she's had to go from mourning her child, which she didn't even get to do, to caring for her husband as a child. And so she has had no time to mourn at all. She's had no time to adjust, no time to mourn, no time. So all she's had is anger, and pretty much that's it. Just anger and frustration. And remember, the time doesn't really move in Fallout. So even though you may play the game for a couple of years, not that much time in universe has really passed. So for Marcy, it's been like maybe a month, a week since they went from Concord to Sanctuary, and she's already been through a month where things can just go to hell. So she really hasn't had time to realize, yeah, you're actually safe. That you're you know, and even ignoring all of that, remember to complete the final mission, several of these final missions in the game, several arcs, require a siege. Now, I know there's at least a siege on the Minutemen base, the Pentagon, the Citadel, whatever they want to call it, the castle. But I believe there's also a siege on a few other key locations, Sanctuary included, which means that it's very likely that Marcy, just as she was starting to feel safe, gets caught up into a siege from one of the main factions, basically declaring war on the main character. The main character, I'll remind you, is the one who got her to Sanctuary. So from Marcy's perspective, the world just keeps kicking her while she's down. And yes, you helped her out for a bit, but then you're also the cause of her getting even further kicked. Marcy, poor girl. Anyway, I've rambled enough. I'll have to break this up into a few different smaller videos later, but yeah, Fallout 4 has got more going than people think. And of course, energy weapon emitters will be uploaded to the Nexus soon. I'll probably dig into the code just to make sure I've gotten the Gatling laser before I do that, because it's just a matter of checking the INI file and checking some form IDs. But let's call it here, shall we?